Redneck Zombies from 1987. Before we start, spoiler alert! Redneck Zombies is a Troma movie. The last zombie movie from Troma I watched was Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead. Second worst movie I've ever seen. Here we go. Before the movie begins, we get a small clip of a zombie talking about how his kind is misrepresented in this film. He gives the viewer an alternative title for the film, a PC title. Non-living entities from areas of sparse populations predominantly in the southern United States with a proclivity for dining upon human tissue. Wow. After that is a brief clip of Lloyd Kaufman being interviewed by Sergeant Kabuki-Man. I won't tell you who these people are, but if you know, you've probably seen a Troma movie before and know what to expect. We begin this movie at the Institute for the Viciously Abused, which looks a lot like an insane asylum. Anyway, after that, we go to Ty, the soldier, who's transporting a deadly, world-ending barrel of toxic chemicals and getting high with his dog. The barrel is haphazardly lying on its side in the back of the Jeep. Meanwhile, a group of campers are hiking through the woods, led by Wilbur, a native of the area who hasn't been back for a few years. A few moments later, we cut back to Ty, who crashes the Jeep and loses the barrel down the side of a hill. Finally catching up to the barrel, he encounters a redneck, Ferd, who drives him off with a gun. Ty literally burns rubber driving away, even though he's on dirt. Didn't know that was possible. Thank you, Troma Entertainment Sound Department. Immediately, though, Ferd has the barrel taken from him by some other rednecks, Jed, Jethro, Jr., and Billy Bob, who wants to be addressed as Ellie Mae. These other rednecks agree that this barrel will make a perfect still for making mash. Moonshine. While making the mash, the Bacca Man comes by. He's kind of like the ice cream man, but with tobacco products. Oh, and he has a creepy voice and wears a sack over his head. Yeah, I'd buy tobacco products from this guy. Anyway, we get back to the still, and Billy Bob starts giving Jed, Pa, attitude. Then we hear one of the more memorable lines of this movie. Boy, I pulled you out of your mom. I'll shove you right back in. Wow. So Billy Bob is sent to deliver their tainted mash to the various customers around the area. All over town, people get the mash and drink it. They think it's odd tasting, but drink it anyhow. Suddenly, fan service. No reason for it. It's just there. Another redneck drinking the mash gives some to her toddler in a sippy cup. The toddler, as if the mash wasn't bad enough, is playing in the washing machine. Nice. Slowly the rednecks begin turning zombie and spreading the plague. The next day, one of the campers, Sally, wakes up, takes a walk, and is attacked by a zombie. Shortly thereafter, another camper, Teresa, goes looking for her, and is attacked also. By the way, the zombies in this film are slow-moving, tool-using, speechless zombies. They're also sloppy eaters. More underage drinking, thank you Troma, and we're introduced to my favorite actor in the picture, Perky the Pig. This is Ma's pet. Ma is married to Jed. Anyway, the rest of the campers wake up and go looking for Sally and Teresa. There's now one woman left in the group of campers, Lisa. As they're searching, they come upon the remains of one of their friends. Wilbur tries to shield Lisa from the horror, and this makes her upset. I actually thought, wow, this guy's a jerk, holding Lisa back and assuming she'll freak out because she's a woman. That is, until she got past him, saw the gore, and freaked out like he assumed she would. The group thinks the bear is the culprit. Normally, in a situation like this, you'd get out of the woods, call the police, something like that, right? Not these people. They decided to immediately bury the remains. Right here, right now attitude. Realism! Thank you, Troma. Back with Billy Bob, he stops at the butcher's house to deliver mash. Walking in, he sees a woman bound and gagged, a pervy redneck sitting next to her, a video on TV of what happens to chickens before they're turned into food, and a guy with sharp knives covered in blood. Billy Bob ponders the situation for a moment, then takes the money for the delivery and leaves. Nice. Meanwhile, the campers come upon the moonshine still and the remains of their other friend. Still suggesting that it's a bear they're dealing with, Bob starts to panic. Andy, also known as the only smart person in this film, addresses the group with logic after examining the barrel and surrounding area. He doesn't know yet that zombies exist, but tells them that it's humans that are doing the killing. Lisa asks if the moonshine is turning people into monsters. Andy says yes, it's Monster Mash. Nearby, Ty is back with two reinforcements. Sherman and Lauren, who is flamingly, stereotypically homosexual. Meanwhile, Bob continues to freak out until he and Wilbur get into a huge fight. Lisa breaks it up and tells them that it's dumb to fight, that they should let Andy come up with a plan since he's the brightest one of the group. Everyone agrees, and Andy begins to speak. Only to be cut off by a zombie popping up behind him and attacking. Now Andy's dead, but not before taking out the zombie. Wilbur sees a mine shaft and decides that it'll be safe in there, without checking it first or anything. Also, they take the zombie's body with them. By the way, there's another camper with them, but he rarely speaks and consistently has some form of alcohol on hand. We'll refer to him as the alcoholic camper. Inside the mine, they find a lantern and light it. Wilbur suggests that Bob perform an autopsy on the zombie to try and find a weakness. As ridiculous as that sounds, it eventually works. This is skipping about 5 to 10 minutes of weirdness when Bob freaks out during the autopsy. When Bob finally came to his senses, he discovered the Redneck Zombies' weakness. Deodorant. Really. They get chased out of the cave and are on the run. Billy Bob finally finishes the deliveries and returns home to find his mom in the kitchen and Perky the Pig's remains splattered across the floor. Mom turned Z and got hungry. By the way, saddest death in the movie. Poor Perky. Back with Ty and the soldiers, they've had a tire blowout and the zombies are slowly creeping towards them. Sherman tried to fight the first one hand to hand, but was killed. Lauren doesn't realize that they're all zombies and says how much fun rednecks are. Like the movie Deliverance. Lauren dies rather quickly and Ty runs for his life. He sees the campers and tells them to run. He encounters a zombie and dies rather quickly too. The campers run, but soon find themselves surrounded. During the battle, I came upon the funniest scene in the film. I guess the script called for Wilbur to kick one of the zombies. Instead of a regular kick though, he caught him right between the legs. The way the zombie grabs himself and crumples to the ground had to have been real. The acting was too bad in this film for that amount of realism. Lisa is then attacked by zombies, but Wilbur sacrifices himself saving her. She then scrambles over to a tree and begins screaming and freaking out. Alcoholic Camper pushes Bob from his hiding spot and it looks like Bob is doomed. Bob is quick, however, and impersonates a zombie, fooling them momentarily. Alcoholic Camper is attacked. Bob can't maintain the charade though and throws up from the blood all around. He looks up and the zombies have stopped attacking Alcoholic Camper and are staring at him. Then they kill him. The zombies soon take notice of Lisa screaming and go after her. She runs for her life, barely escaping a few times. She makes it to a field, crawling. Everything goes dark when she meets up with the Tobacco Man. She wakes up in a padded cell in the Institute for the Viciously Abused along with Alcoholic Camper? I guess the zombies didn't have time to fully kill him when they heard Bob barfing. Alcoholic Camper still has alcohol with him. The end. This movie was on par with the other Troma movies for the most part. There are a few more entertaining bits in here than normal though. For that, I'll give it a 3 out of 10. So until next time, be safe, be smart, be ready.